Hey there everyone, this is Samuel Johnson and welcome back to the MCU Perspectives What If Edition. And Merry Christmas to you! The festive season is upon us, I'm wearing my Subcar Gift Giver ugly sweater, and so what better way to ring in the holidays than by talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Or rather, something Marvel Cinematic Universe adjacent. The point is, we're going to be talking Marvel, and to kick things off, we're going to be taking a look at episode 19 of Marvel's What If, / the first episode of season 3, what if the Hulk fought the Mech Avengers? Now, before I get to talking about this episode, I want to talk about the show What If for a second. And if you've been watching my previous vlogs, then you know my opinions of the previous 2 seasons of What If are kind of a mixed bag. Season 1 was the most mixed for me. It had creative ideas in some regards, and sometimes they were able to implement those ideas rather well, but it's clear that Season 1 was where they were still trying to get their footing with the premise, and thus they kind of fumbled the kid in a few areas here and there. Overall, I did like it, but Season 1 was sadly the weakest of the first 2 seasons. And as for Season 2, while it did share maybe a few of the same problems as Season 1, for the most part, it felt like that they had gotten a firmer grasp on what they wanted What If to be, and thus they're able to tell more complete stories with what they were given, and thus were able to go off and go in their own creative pathways, which led to some, in my opinion, much more interesting episodes. It's still not perfect, but it certainly was a lot better than Season 1, and I want to make this clear, I'm talking about this under the mindset that I like both of the first 2 seasons. Just, again, I think one's better than the other. So, of course, when Season 3 of What If was planned, you can bet your ass I was excited for this. Like I said, I love What If. I love the very premise of What If, and every time What If comes out, I will eat that shit up. There is a reason What If is the only Disney Plus MCU show that I will break my needs to be important for a movie rule just to watch. I love it that much. With that said, Season 3 of What If is also, unfortunately, the final season of What If, which, quite frankly, I think sucks. What If is one of those story ideas that has almost infinite untapped potential. You can have fun with the premise in any way you want. Just go off in your own direction. It's something that you could just have complete and total fun with and just go nuts with it. So the fact that they're ending it after 3 seasons does disappoint me, but whatever. Nothing lasts forever, and if they genuinely don't want to work on this anymore, I can't really stop them. I'm just a random loser on the internet who makes vlogs that barely break 10 views, if I'm lucky. And so you know what? If this is the end, let's see if they go out with a bang. So, with that all said, let's actually talk about the episode. And, well, let's talk about what leads to the events of this episode, and it all begins with a chance meeting between one Bruce Banner and Sam Wilson. So, if you remember back in the main MCU, how Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson first met, they were kind of sort of jogging buddies. They both ran the same course around Washington, D.C., and because Captain America, being a super soldier, because Captain America was a super soldier, he kept outpacing Sam, and as a result, this shared activity allowed the two to grow closer until eventually when Cap needed Sam's help, they wound up becoming friends, and Sam Wilson officially joined the Avengers as the Falcon before eventually becoming the new Captain America, which if you expect me to talk about the exact circumstances surrounding that, well, wait till I talk about Captain America Brave New World, because I have not seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet, and well, I'm just gonna wait until before I watch Captain America Brave New World, because again, needs to be important for a movie. Whatever. Point is, I haven't watched it yet. However, in this reality, it wasn't Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson didn't meet Steve Rogers. Rather, he met Bruce Banner, as Bruce in this reality decided to take up jogging to, reduce stress, anxiety, and other negative emotions that can possibly lead to anger. And of course, Bruce Banner, not being the most physically active of people, he was struggling, which allowed Sam Wilson to outpace him. However, this shared jogging track allowed Sam and Bruce to get to talking and getting to know one another, and as a result, Sam learned a little bit more about Bruce's anxieties. Of course, Bruce didn't tell him the whole story. He never told him, hey, I'm the Hulk, but he did tell Sam enough that he said that he had anger issues and problems, and he wanted to work on them. And Sam, since he's the one in charge of basically a counseling group, asked Bruce if he wanted to join it, which Bruce accepted. And for a bit, and Sam, for the most part, was helping Bruce through these sessions. However, Sam wound up growing closer to Bruce, and he realized that if he really wanted to help Bruce, then there were better ways he could do it. And so, he and Bruce became tried and true friends. And they became thick as thieves, just talking, hanging out, just doing all that friend stuff. Unfortunately, Bruce's little secret couldn't stay a secret forever, as one day, while Bruce, Sam, and various other people were on a fishing boat trip, a storm wound up hitting the boat, and the ship wound up getting rocked, with one of the masts getting thrown off and smacking right into Bruce, which wound up irritating him so much that he wound up transforming into the Hulk right there on the boat. The Hulk, of course, is about to go on a rampage, but Sam was able to thankfully calm the Hulk down enough that he didn't wreck everything. Unfortunately, enough of Bruce was up here to realize that this big mean green side of himself was just revealed to his closest friend, and so rather than returning back to Bruce Banner and talking with Sam, he ran away, jumping right off the boat to parts unknown. And as a result, from what I can tell in the episode, Sam and Bruce didn't really talk after that. And as such, Bruce, feeling more ashamed than ever, decided that he couldn't see Sam again until he finally rid himself of the Hulk. And so how he wanted to get rid of the Hulk? Just pump himself full of more gamma! Obviously that'll do the trick, right? Nah, not really. Bruce basically bombarded himself with more gamma rays, and not only did this not separate him from the Hulk, it actually made things worse, as the experiment wound up basically creating a second Hulk, one that budded off from the original. And this Hulk was more monster than man, as this one looks more like a literal lizard, as it has horns, scales, it's radiating with green energy in places, it has a tail. Basically, it's a kaiju. And that's more in more ways than one, because the bombardment of gamma radiation causes this second Hulk to grow to giant size. And as a result, this second Hulk, from now on I'm going to call the Apex, because that's what they call it in the show, wound up escaping from the lab that Bruce created it from, and basically wound up going on a rampage. And it turns out one of the Apex's abilities, beyond smashing things, is that he can butt off other slightly smaller monster Hulks. They're still giant, but they're basically just these little creatures that all work for the Apex. And as a result, the Apex wound up going off on a rampage across the world, as in every sense of the word, this was the Hulk without Bruce Banner's conscience helping to keep him in check. As such, with Apex just going on a rampage, the Avengers of course assembled, but they realized they wouldn't be able to be a match for this Hulk. So Tony Stark had an idea of how to take him down. After all, he had the Hulkbuster armor on standby, and so he figured, what if he did that, but bigger? And as a result, that led to the creation of the Mech Avengers. 5 giant mecha suits that were made for each member of the original Avengers, sans Bruce, who kind of went into hiding. And as a result, this led to an event in this universe called the Gamma Wars, wherein the Mech Avengers duked it out against Apex and his gamma-irradiated forces. And unfortunately, they lost. Badly. The original Avengers were sadly taken out, and it looked like the world was going to be screwed. Thankfully, though, the world was not bereft of heroes, as various other heroes were able to take up the mantles of those who came before, in this case, Sam Wilson himself, Monica Rambeau, and Bucky Barnes, all basically wound up gaining their own mech suits and took on their own heroic mantles to carry on the work of the original Avengers, with Sam actually becoming the new Captain America, just like in the main MCU, and like Monica Rambeau, she could be binary or Prism, or I don't know which one it is. And, well, Bucky's obvious. He's the Winter Soldier. Either way, this trio of mech-suited heroes were able to fight back against the hordes of Apex, and by the skin of their teeth, they won. They defeated Apex, drove him back, and saved the world. And as such, for 10 years, the world has known peace, with the Gamma Wars pretty much now being just a part of their history. There's even a little stupid cartoon show that people can watch nowadays based on it, that basically just takes the premise and simplifies it to a more kid-friendly point of view. Unfortunately, though, sleeping dogs do not always lie forever, as one day, well, sightings of the Apex or Apex-like creatures began appearing around the world, specifically in San Francisco, causing a rampage, which of course gets the attention of Sam Wilson and the other Mech Avengers. And basically ever since the Mech Avengers first formed, their members have grown, as we now have brand new heroes that have taken up the mantle. You got Siri from Wakanda, who acts as the driver of the Black Panther mecha. You've got Melina and Alexei from Russia, who have the Red Guardian mecha. You've got Shang-Chi, who's driving his own mecha that has mechanized versions of the Ten Rings on him, which is honestly kind of awesome. You got, well, Moon Knight, which, yeah, if you expect me to talk about him too, again, haven't seen Moon Knight. I'm sure it's really damn good. I have it on Blu-ray, but again, I'm waiting until it's actually necessary for understanding a show before going to see it. But either way, he's piloting his own mech, and I think there's someone else. Just give me 1 second. Okay, no, sorry. It was literally just those 5 that joined the team. Point is, they have a brand new series of Mech Avengers that operate around the world. And, well, they realize that they're realizing that if more of these Apex monsters are appearing, then a new Gamma War might be on the horizon. Something that seems to get affirmed as they pick up a Gamma signature in the Arctic that matches the original Apex Gamma signature. As such, to try and nip this in the bud, Sam and Monica end up taking their mechs straight to the Arctic to try and figure out what this is. However, before they leave, Monica does have a word with Sam and says that that if this really is the return of Apex, then he might need some help on this, i.e., they might need to find Bruce Banner. Something that Sam wants to not do at all because he's still a little hurt that his friend ditched him and unleashed this horde of monsters on the world. But behind Sam's back, Monica has Bucky look into where Bruce Banner could be. As such, when Sam and Monica go to the Arctic to try and identify this Gamma signature, they end up coming face to face with more of these Apex Hulk monsters, and unfortunately, these ones seem a little bit stronger than the last batch, as they basically tank all of the attacks from Sam and Monica's mechs, and at one point even dunk them under the ice, where once Monica and Sam are under the ice, they see there are a lot more of these monsters than there were before, almost thousands of them, and that's basically not good news for anyone. And upon Sam and Monica managing to get back to the surface and climb on top of a big ice structure, they see that these creatures are following a leader again, as they see the original Apex Hulk just come right out of the woodwork and stand before an army of these things as they rise out of the ice. Only now, this time, they're not just acting like random monsters. No, apparently in the time since Apex Hulk lost the last Gamma War, he got smarter. He now has a plan, and this basically isn't just an infestation anymore. This isn't random destruction. This is a straight-up invasion. Apex Hulk wants the world, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it. And as such, after letting out a scream of gamma energy, which in turn causes Sam and Monica to fall right back into the ice again, the Apex Hulk leads his army of monsters into the sea so that they can invade the world. As such, Sam and Monica are left behind to lick their wounds, and basically Monica tells Sam that at this point they will need Bruce's help. And of course, while Sam is still reluctant to go see his old friend, Monica does tell him that at this point they do need his help, and if the only thing that's stopping the world from being saved is Sam talking to Bruce, then they're pretty much just screwed. As such, Sam sadly has to swallow his pride as he says, "Okay, fine, I'll look for him." And thankfully, because Monica went behind his back in order to find Bruce, she does have results as Bucky tells her where it is that Bruce is. As it turns out that Bruce went off the grid big time as he went to a little out-of-the-way island in the middle of the ocean called Astra Island, which used to be an old military base before it was eventually shut down. As such, armed with this knowledge, Sam goes out personally to Astra Island, and sure enough, as he goes through the place, it's mostly just jungle, he does find Bruce there, basically just living calmly, as he basically just made himself comfortable with what he had, and because of the old tech there, he was able to make a sort of makeshift lab. There's even an active nuclear bomb there that is just on standby. Either way, when Sam finds Bruce, while he doesn't exchange any friendly pleasantries with him, he does explain the situation, and he does want Bruce to help. Bruce says no. No, he does not want to get involved with this anymore. It's been years since he transformed into the Hulk, and he does not want to have to go back in there because, well, this whole thing was his fault in the first place, and he really cannot stand the sight of himself right now, because he knows it was his fault, and and knowing that his attempts to get rid of the Hulk just created an even worse Hulk, it's just not sitting right with him. However, he has not been sitting on his laurels all these years, as it turns out that while Bruce does not want to fight the Hulk directly, he does have a way of taking it down. Or I mean the Apex Hulk in this. As it turns out, Bruce studied the Mech Avengers, and he managed to create a new protocol for them, which he shows to Sam via a computer chip. And this protocol is called the Mighty Avenger Protocol. And what will it do? It pretty much just makes a Megazord. It will take all of the Mech Avengers robots and then just combine them into an even bigger robot whose combined firepower might be able to give the Avengers a chance to take down the Apex Hulk. And then while Sam is happy to take this, well, he still is not happy that Bruce isn't going to be helping them beyond this. Because, again, this is Bruce's fault, and he's angry that Bruce isn't trying to fix it. Which Bruce says that's the whole reason why he set up this protocol at all. Apparently, he set it up to take him out should he ever lose control again. As such, Sam at this point decides to just leave as he realizes it's basically just like talking to air to convince Bruce to come, but he does tell Bruce that Bruce shouldn't hate himself or fear himself the way he thinks other people do, because when Sam looks at him, he doesn't see a monster, he sees a friend, and he hopes one day that Bruce will see the same thing when he looks at himself. As such, Sam gets in his mech and flies back to the mainland, just leaving Bruce by his lonesome. And on top of that, as Sam's flying there, he gets a call from Monica letting him know that the Apex Hulk and his army are about to make landfall in New York. Thankfully, Sam is able to send them all the schematics for the Mighty Avenger Protocol, and as such, armed with this knowledge, Sam and the rest of the Mech Avengers end up flying straight to New York, and sure enough, once Apex and his army end up making landfall, the fight is on as all of the Mech Avengers get into battle, and again, it's really fucking awesome. I dig it. It's really cool. They're basically just taking them out one by one, but again, Apex's forces begin outnumbering them and overpowering them, and so Sam gets the Mighty Avenger Protocol in place, and with a call of Avenger Assemble, all of the mechs end up combining into the giant Mighty Avenger. And yes, it is as stupidly awesome as you think it is. It's basically just a giant Avenger Megazord. And that is great. I love that. 10 out of 10. No notes. It's awesome. I dig it. As such, the Mighty Avenger is actually hitting an even better time at taking out Apex's forces, as the combined firepower takes out a large number of them, and even to get up close and personal, the Mighty Avenger has a giant Captain America shield, and he's able to use Moon Knight's weapons and transform into a fucking spear. It's awesome. And he basically just starts taking them out one by one, and it's just really cool until eventually the Mighty Avenger takes out enough of these monsters that it's able to get face to face with the Apex Hulk himself. And as such, they try and blast him and hit him with all they got, but unfortunately, all it takes is a giant blast of gamma radiation from Apex, and it sends the Mighty Avenger flying and causes most of their systems to go critical. So yeah, they may have had a better chance of fighting Apex, but they're better. But basically, it's basically just 1 times 2 is still 2. It's not gonna help in that regard. However, aid suddenly arrives as Shuri, or Monica, I forget who it was, ends up basically realizing that something is coming in close, which Sam is confused by because the Mech Avengers don't have any more mechs on standby. That's because it's not a mech. In fact, they just see what looks like a plane flying in. And for context, there was an old beat-up plane on Bruce's island. Yep, Bruce is flying in to help out, although he does not have his own mech that he can pilot in order to fight Apex. Rather, he's going to become the mech. Sort of. It's a dumb analogy that I gave, but point is, Bruce reactivated the nuclear bomb. And only this time, he made the power source something more gamma-fueled, i.e., he's in the center of the bomb. Basically, his plan, he's going to drop the bomb right smack dab on top of Apex, and rather than causing an explosion that'll irradiate the area around him, Bruce's body will absorb all of the excess gamma radiation and put himself on a more even playing field with the Apex Hulk. Something that Sam thinks is a stupid idea, because if Bruce takes in all that energy, then he might not come back from it. He won't go back to being Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner will be buried so deep that the man will pretty much almost be gone. But Bruce is ready to take that chance. He needs to stop this thing, and well, he pretty much just finally have the courage to face his own fears. And so, despite Sam telling him not to do it, Bruce basically hits the button, and the bomb drops from the plane. And sure enough, as the bomb gets ready to activate, Bruce's own gamma radiation starts infusing with it as he starts transforming into the Hulk. And sure enough, just before Apex can deliver the coup de grace against the mighty Avenger, the bomb explodes, causing a big giant mushroom cloud behind Apex and his forces. And from the center of this mushroom cloud, we see the Hulk arise, who, having absorbed all the excess radiation and transformed into a kaiju monster himself. Funny little thing that I kind of find amusing. OG Hulk, or Mega Hulk as he now is, he looks like fucking Godzilla. I mean, okay, he still looks enough like the Hulk that you can still call him the Hulk. He's still big, he's still green, he's got the same angry face, but he's now got scales running down his back. He's more scaly, he's got a tail, which he's basically just Godzilla if Godzilla was the Hulk, which I kind of like. I mean, Apex basically just kind of looked like Space Godzilla, so it makes sense that the OG Hulk would look a little more like Godzilla as well. Either way, Hulk's powered up, and as a result, with both original and Apex basically letting out cries, both Hulks run at each other and proceed to get to the smashing. And well, everyone is just sitting back and watching, not just the Mech Avengers, but also the entire horde of Apex's forces, because this was actually another part of Bruce's plan. It's not enough just to defeat Apex, someone needs to replace him. And who better than someone who actually has a conscience up here? As such, both Mega Hulk and Apex Hulk continue duking it out, and it's still a really damn cool fight. But unfortunately, at one point, Apex does seem to manage to overpower the Hulk to the point where he's about to smash his face in. But thankfully, Sam is able to turn the tide as he's able to run into the Mech Avenger and pretty much the Mighty Avenger, and pretty much just hits Apex Hulk with a rocket-powered fist, which knocks him right off of Mega Hulk. And sure enough, with Apex's advantage taken away, the Hulk gets back up and unleashes a fucking atomic breath on him. Again, it's clear he's fucking Godzilla. But basically, the Hulk just unleashes this on Apex and just does not stop, does not relent, until finally Apex is just burned to a crisp and is now just dust. Dust which the Hulk just sniffs right up like cocaine. But yeah, Apex is defeated, but the Hulk is still around. Defeating Apex did prove him as the superior in the eyes of Apex's forces, but again, this is the Hulk. And when the Hulk is done smashing the bad guy, it's always a toss-up whether he's gonna turn on the good guys too. And as such, Omega Hulk turns to the Mighty Avengers and begins stomping towards them, with the Avengers immediately rushing to the robot and arming its guns because they want to fight this thing. However, Sam orders everyone to stand down because he thinks he can talk this thing down. And while all the other Avengers tell him that this is a suicide mission, Sam is not stopping as he jumps off the mech and calls out to Bruce. Something that does get the Mega Hulk's attention, as he does look down to Sam and even just leans in down so that they're both just staring each other right in the eye. And once again, Sam tells Bruce that he doesn't look at him and he sees a monster. He still sees a friend. And he hopes that when Bruce looks at him, he sees one too. And sure enough, as he does. As Sam's words do manage to get through the Hulk's thick skin enough that he stands down. He basically steps back, and he goes back out into the ocean with his new forces basically following after. And so, the world is saved. The Apex has been defeated, and the Mech Avengers now stand victorious. And sure enough, Sam is happy. Sam still believes that his friend is still in there somewhere, and as such, the episode ends as we see Sam and his Captain America mech flying across the ocean to Astra Island. As we see that Bruce has returned there with his new forces. As we see the Mecha Hulk standing on top of a volcano, letting out a cry of his own. So yeah, that was the episode, and my thoughts on it. It's fucking awesome. Look, it's basically just this. It's the MCU. It was a mech anime, and for the most part, I think it's fun. Again, when it comes down, I like the idea of taking the standard Western-style superheroes that we are familiar with, and then just kind of transplanting them into that environment, because usually it can be really damn fun. And the thing is, Marvel has done that with the Avengers before. We've gotten stuff like the Mech Strike universe, or Megamorphs, or I forget what the third one was. Maybe it was still Megamorphs. Point is, Marvel is not unfamiliar with transplanting their heroes into mech anime scenarios, and quite frankly, it's usually fun when it usually is fun when they do it. And this episode is ultimately no exception. I think it's just kind of fun to see all the Avengers just all donning their own mech suits, which are all designed after their signature heroes. Like, I love that Shang-Chi's mech suit has the 10 rings just kind of augmented onto his arms, which I think is really cool. I like that Moon Knight's armor basically has his weapons in the form of a staff. I like the motif with Monica's looking like her binary/prism outfit. Again, I don't know what name she's going to go for. I like the stuff with the Red Guardian, the fact that it's being piloted by both Melina and Alexei. That's pretty nice, and Alexei is just as embarrassing here as he was in Black Widow, so, you know. But when it comes down to it, it's just a fun premise. And quite frankly, Apex Hulk's just a fucking cool villain. The Hulk's already awesome, but the idea of basically creating a second, more powerful Hulk, one that doesn't have a trace of Bruce Banner in him and is just a feral monster, already is a terrifying thought. But seeing this other Hulk become a literal fucking kaiju, it's glorious. It's just fucking glorious. I'm sorry if my opinions on the episode don't seem as analytical or subjective as you would like them to be, but quite frankly, it's just so fun. I just think it's such a fun premise when it comes down to it. And I mean, yeah, we do get some genuinely good emotions. The character stuff with Sam and Bruce, I do think is nice, and I like that basically how everything got set down the path and that it did in this universe was just that Sam Wilson befriended Bruce Banner instead of Steve Rogers, which I think is kind of creative. As sometimes all it takes is the smallest of things that can create the largest of changes. And this episode pretty much just showcases that as by befriending Sam Wilson, it eventually led Bruce Banner down the path that eventually led him to creating the Apex Hulk. I like that. It's just nice. It's just the little things. It's part of why I love alternate universes. That little things can lead to bigger consequences. It's always creative and always fun to see just where those little to see that single drop of water in the pond that created the ripples. It's always really, I like that. It's always pretty fun. And I do think the drama that comes from it is actually really nice, as Sam Wilson does not want to have anything to do with Bruce, maybe because he's partially hurt that his friend did not trust him enough to try and, talk all this out with him or let Sam help him. But at the same time, there's the guilt. There's also the obvious thing that Bruce literally created an even worse monster than what he already had, and both Sam and Bruce kind of blame him for it. It's actually really nice, and it's actually a nice little thing that I think works and creates some good drama. And so it makes Bruce's ultimate sacrifice in the end feel that much greater because he's decided, fuck it, I let this genie out of the bottle, I'm gonna shove him back in no matter what it takes, which leads him to overdosing on Gamma and turning into the Mega Hulk. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. And again, the final battle between both Hulks at the end is just fucking cool. It's a giant kaiju battle where both kaijus are the Hulk. That's awesome. I'll take it. Give that to me. Inject it into my veins. That's the stupid shit that I want, my friends. I will always love that. It's just a gun time all around. Now, with that said, is the episode objectively perfect? No, admittedly, it feels like admittedly, while the episode does have its share of good character stuff with Bruce and Sam, and that for the most part that does carry the episode. I feel like it could be a little bit deeper if we had seen their friendship just developed a bit more. What we see is fine, of course, and we see enough key moments between Bruce and Sam that you do buy that they're friends, and the drama that comes of it is enjoyable. But it feels like it could have been deeper. And while I liked Bruce's sacrifice at the end of the episode, I feel like that it could have been built up to better if we had seen him and Sam actually showcase more of these little moments of them being friends. Again, for what we have in the episode, it's fine. It's fine. It creates enough drama and emotion that you do buy that Sam was able to talk the Mega Hulk down from basically continuing Apex's work. But at the same time, I felt like it could have been a little bit more. It could have been a lot better. For what it is, it mostly just kind of focuses on the Avengers are mechs in this universe, which is again still cool. I'll still eat that shit up, and the Apex Hulk is still a good enough villain that it's still able to carry everything and make for a suitable threat. And again, Mighty Avenger, fucking awesome. I love it. I will always love that. Giant robots are awesome, okay? I will take it okay? So, when it comes down to it, I can admit, I'm not being very objective when it comes to this episode, but I can safely say that I enjoyed myself while watching it. I think the action was pretty damn cool. I loved seeing the Mech Avengers. The Apex Hulk's a fun villain. The climax is freaking awesome. It has fun with the premise it's given. Overall, I think this episode is a good start to season 3. Is it like the greatest episode ever? Maybe not, but it's pretty damn up there, and it's pretty damn up there when it comes to What If. So overall, if you haven't seen this episode, give it a watch. I say you're going to be in for a good time. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. I thank you for watching. I'm Samuel Johnson, and I hope to see you next year as we talk about the next episode that focuses on another character from the MCU Disney Plus show. So to them, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and take care.